Okay, so you want to win the lottery. You pick your numbers, you cash the check, and you never work another day in your life. Simple. But here's the strange part. Winning the lottery is one of the only events in a person's life that can leave them measurably worse off than they were before. Poorer, lonelier, and in more than a few cases, dead. The single biggest windfall a normal person will ever see is also one of the most dangerous things that can happen to them. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why. What really happens to the money the second you win. Why the number on that giant check is a lie. Why your name alone can get you killed. And the small handful of winners who beat every part of this and walked away untouchable. Let's start with the money, because the very first lie happens before you have spent a single dollar. That giant cardboard check they hand you at the press conference, the number printed on it isn't real. Say you win a $1.5 billion jackpot. That headline number is the annuity, the full amount, but only if you let the state pay you in small installments spread out over 30 years. Almost nobody does that. Almost everybody takes the lump sum, the cash value, and the cash value is only about half. So your $1.5 billion just quietly became somewhere around $700 million before you've made a single decision. And then the government arrives. Federal tax takes its top rate of 37%, and depending on which state you're in, another 10% can disappear on top of that. When Edwin Castro won the largest jackpot in the history of the world, $2.04 billion, the cash he actually walked away with was about $997 million. When Mavis Wanchik won $758 million, the number that actually hit her account was 336. So here's the rule nobody says out loud before you play. Whatever number is on the check, cut it in half, then take a third off of what's left. That's what you really won. And believe it or not, that's the good news part of this video. Because here's what those numbers don't capture. A team of researchers once studied thousands of real lottery winners in Florida, tracking what happened to them for years after the win. What they found was brutal. Winning a large prize didn't save people from bankruptcy, it just delayed it. The big winners were going bankrupt at the same rate as everybody else, only a few years later, after the money had burned through their hands. Think about how strange that is. You can hand a struggling family several $100,000 and statistically, a few years down the line, they are right back where they started, or worse off. The money doesn't fix the problem, it postpones it, and it makes it bigger. People in this world have a name for that pattern. They call it the lottery curse. And the curse isn't magic, it's mechanical. So let me show you the machine, piece by piece, starting with the moment your name goes public. In most of the United States, the second you win, your name becomes public record. A lot of states will print your name and your hometown in the newspaper whether you want them to or not. And the instant your name gets attached to a number that big, something changes. You stop being a person and you become a target. In 2015, a 20-year-old father in Georgia named Gregory Birch Jr. won $434,000. As the law required at the time, his name was made public. In a small town, that news traveled fast. About 2 months later, a group of masked men kicked in his front door in the middle of the night. He threw them his wallet and begged them not to do it in front of his kids. It wasn't enough. He was shot in his own living room in front of his family for a win the entire town already knew he had. In Chicago, a man named Uruj Khan won a $1 million scratch-off ticket. He never spent a cent of it. Just as the winnings were being processed, he suddenly died, and the cause turned out to be cyanide poisoning. His death was ruled a homicide. To this day, no one has ever been charged. The money didn't even make it out of the lottery office before it got him killed. But strangers, it turns out, are the least of your problems. The real danger, over and over and over again, comes from the inside, from the exact people who were supposed to love you. Jeffrey Dampier won $20 million in Illinois, and he did what a lot of good people would do. He took care of his family. He bought them homes. He paid their bills. He supported the people closest to him. In 2005, his own sister-in-law, a woman he had personally been supporting with that money, called him and asked him to come help her with something. It was a trap. He was forced into a van at gunpoint and shot in the head for his fortune. When his widow was later asked what winning the lottery had done for her husband, she answered with a single word: curse. William Post won $16 million in Pennsylvania. His own brother hired a hitman to try to kill him, hoping to inherit the money. Post ended his life broke and back on food stamps, and said more than once that he wished he'd never won at all. And then there's Abraham Shakespeare, who won $30 million in Florida and was hounded so relentlessly by people wanting a piece that he told his own brother, "I'd have been better off broke. I thought all these people were my friends." A woman appeared in his life, promised to protect him and manage his money, and instead took every dollar of it and then his life. His body was found buried under a slab of concrete in a backyard. She is serving a life sentence for his murder. Now you might be sitting there thinking, fine, I will just be smart about it. I will stay quiet. I will hire professionals. I will be careful. And here is the part that makes this a genuine curse and not just a run of bad luck. Careful on its own is not enough. The moment you have that money, every single person around you quietly develops a plan for it. Relatives who never called you before suddenly need something. Advisors you've never met appear out of thin air, all of them eager to help. Marie Holmes won a $188 million share of a Powerball jackpot and ended up being sued by her own church over a donation she had pledged. Sued by her church. Winners get pulled into lawsuits over tickets, over promises, over relationships they were in when they bought the ticket. The lawyers show up. The long-lost family shows up. And every one of them arrives with a completely reasonable-sounding story about why a slice of your money should really be theirs. You didn't just win a prize. You became a full-time job that 100 people are now applying for, all at once. So when you line up the winners who lost everything, almost all of it comes down to just two mistakes. Mistake number 1, take the lump sum, go public, and spend loud. Jack Whitaker won $315 million and did exactly that. He was already a wealthy man, he went on television, and he flashed the money everywhere. What followed was a slow-motion catastrophe. Hundreds of thousands of dollars stolen out of his car, lawsuit after lawsuit, and worst of all, the deaths of his granddaughter and then his daughter in the years after the win. He ended up broke, and he said, in his own words, that he wished he had torn the ticket up. Michael Carroll won around $14 million in England at 19 years old. He collected it with a police tag still strapped to his ankle and then spent roughly a decade destroying it. The mansion, the cars, the endless parties, until every last penny was gone. Mistake number 2, trust the wrong person. That's Shakespeare handing control to a stranger who promised to protect him. That's every winner who gave the keys to someone who smiled and said, "Let me handle everything." Loud spending and blind trust. Those two mistakes have buried more lottery fortunes than bad luck ever has. So who actually survives this? Because some people do. And when you put them side by side, they all did the very same handful of things. Mavis Wanchik took her $336 million, walked into the hospital where she'd worked for over 30 years, quit that same week, and then simply disappeared. No spectacle, no interviews, gone. Manuel Franco won $768 million at just 24 years old, said almost nothing in public, told the world he only wanted to invest it carefully, and then vanished from view. Shane Missler won $451 million at 20, and before he touched a single dollar, he formed a trust to hold the money and keep his name out of it. Even Edwin Castro, sitting on the largest jackpot ever won, has stayed remarkably quiet while he steadily turns it into an empire of real estate and investments. Look hard at what all of them share. They claimed carefully and often anonymously. They stayed quiet. They did not blow it in a blaze of headlines. They kept their circle small and their names out of the paper. They treated the money not as a lottery win to celebrate, but as a business to protect. In a game that is practically designed to destroy the winner, they did the one thing that actually works. They refused to act like they had won. And that is the real lesson underneath all of this. The lottery does not change your life. It magnifies it. It takes whoever you already are and turns the volume all the way up. If you're disciplined, quiet, and genuinely ready for it, it can build something that lasts for generations. And if you're not, it will find every crack that was already there and break the whole thing wide open. The winners who survived weren't lucky twice. They were ready before the money ever arrived. So here's the real question. If your numbers came up tomorrow, are you the person who could actually hold on to it? Tell me in the comments, and if you believe your win is on its way, subscribe to the Jackpot Oracle and start getting ready for it now. Because we believe the universe only hands the big ones to the people who are prepared to keep them. See you in the next one.